A very good afternoon. You're watching the midday news on Rajya Sabha television, where we get you the biggest and developing news stories at the top of 1. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor, and here are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to focus on terror-free Bay of Bengal region when he addresses the 4th edition of BIMSTEC Summit in Kathmandu today. Grouping leaders call on Nepal President ahead of the summit, focusing on peace, prosperity and sustainability in the region. NIA arrests the son of a global terrorist Saeed Salahuddin in connection with the terror funding case in Srinagar. Allegation of receiving funds from another accused in case relating to financing secessionist activities. In Bandipora, 2 militants killed in encounter with the security forces. Committee of Secretaries looking into possibility of enacting new law to check incidents of mob lynching submits report to group of ministers headed by Rajnath Singh. GOM to give recommendations to Prime Minister for final decision. ₹738 crore are received in the Chief Minister's distress relief fund post floods, informs Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan at a special session of the State Assembly. Says there needs to be a discussion on whether rehabilitation should be done in areas prone to landslides and floods. And India look to level test series against England as they take on host in 4th match at Southampton today. Men in blue had made a commendable comeback in the 3rd test to keep the 5-match series alive. First up, all the news from the 4th BIMSTEC Summit that is taking place in Nepal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Kathmandu to attend the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, or the BIMSTEC Summit. And the heads of governments of BIMSTEC are taking part in the 2-day summit, where issue of free trade agreement is expected to be discussed among other issues. BIMSTEC is an organization of 7 nations of South Asia and Southeast Asia. Its members are Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Bhutan and Nepal. And ahead of the summit, BIMSTEC leaders, including Prime Minister Modi and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, met Nepal President Bidya Devi Bhandari.
The Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation will hold its 4th summit in Kathmandu today and Friday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Nepal for the summit. Upon arrival in Kathmandu, he was accorded a ceremonial welcome by Nepal's Defence Minister Ishwar Pokhriyal. In a statement ahead of his departure, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "My participation in the summit symbolizes India's highest priority to our neighbourhood and our strong commitment to continue deepening our relationship with the extended neighbourhood in Southeast Asia." Unquote. He also added that he looks forward to meeting Prime Minister of Nepal KP Sharma Oli and review the progress made in bilateral ties since his last visit to Nepal in May 2018. Before the formal beginning, host Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli said, "The summit will be very much fruitful in facing challenges posed by global warming, achieve sustainable development goals and expanding connectivity to ease movement among the people of BIMSTEC member states and enhance cooperation. Economic prosperity of the people of the region, expansion of road network and construction of Buddhist circuit will mainly figure during the summit." Minister of State for External Affairs VK Singh took part in the BIMSTEC Foreign Ministers meeting to finalize documents and also the Kathmandu Declaration. He said, India envisages a safe and prosperous region encompassing BIMSTEC countries.
It brings together like-minded countries with a common commitment to peace, prosperity and development of its people. With a shared heritage, shared values and shared ways of life, it is a natural platform to build a common future. The strength of this particular grouping has been in responding collectively to adversities and in sharing its capabilities.
Prime Minister Modi will address the summit today. His focus will be on terror-free Bay of Bengal region for progress and prosperity.
For India, BIMSTEC is a natural choice to fulfill our key foreign policy priorities, which is neighbourhood first and our Act East policy. Regional cooperation under BIMSTEC also extends to development of the northeastern states of India, forming a bridge between the South and Southeast Asia.
Prime Minister Modi will also use the opportunity for a bilateral meeting with BIMSTEC heads of governments, representatives. He will also inaugurate a pilgrim's home for Pashupatinath temple visitors that has been built with India's cooperation. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Akhilesh Suman is now joining us live from the newsroom for a perspective on the story. Akhilesh, Prime Minister Modi today arrived in Nepal to attend the 4th BIMSTEC Summit. He also met with the Nepal President. And, this summit, we understand, is going to especially focus on enhancing regional connectivity and boosting trade as well. So first, tell us, what is the Prime Minister's itinerary for the day?
Yeah, after some time he will also be meeting the President of Sri Lanka, and then it will be that plenary session will begin when Prime Minister Narendra Modi will make a speech there, and he will also elucidate what India wants to get from this grouping, and he will also say that how India gives importance to the neighborhood and how India and the member nations of BIMSTEC can collaborate together for peace and prosperity, because Aishwarya, it is a really very difficult situation in South Asia and also Southeast Asia joining us because of the menace of terrorism. That menace of terrorism has actually hampered the whole progress dynamics of this region, and that is why Prime Minister Narendra Modi also wanted to rein in other members of other member nations of this region, and that is why there is BIMSTEC, because BIMSTEC is there for 21 years and it did not took off because of most of the energy was going for keeping SAARC afloat.
Yes.
But since SAARC is not responding well, and because of Pakistan's adamant behavior, giving patronage and shelter to the terrorists, and the whole area has been destabilized because of terrorist attacks are not stopping. So that is why BIMSTEC is coming.
Yes.
So it is not considered to be alternative of each other, but focus is on BIMSTEC because of this region, because this area, that this area, people are hungry for development, people are hungry to go ahead in their lives and infrastructure. So that is why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is keeping BIMSTEC in very much importance.
Yes.
And after this plenary meeting, he will also meet Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Yes. And after that, there will be gala dinner hosted by Prime Minister of Nepal. But I will also remind you that yesterday, while Prime Minister of Nepal, Mr. KP Sharma Oli, was addressing his own parliament, he said himself that since we cannot energize and we could not energize SAARC the way we had expected, we should focus now on BIMSTEC. So,
Yes.
You can understand the emotions flowing on this whole area, that we have to grow and we have to develop together, and they need each other's help and each other's capabilities, so that they can help each other and develop each other's potentiality and utilize each other's potentiality. And in this way, I think this BIMSTEC summit is going to be very important, because it is now almost regular for last 3 summits, 2 years, and they will also talk about how it can be made an annual summit, so that more frequently they can interact on the issues related to this region, Aishwarya.
Right, Akhilesh. So, very, very important summit, as you mentioned, because of the stagnation of SAARC. Of course, BIMSTEC has assumed even more importance for India. But it will be very interesting to see how India, carefully navigates the emerging regional geopolitics in BIMSTEC. Thank you so much, Akhilesh. You keep tracking all those developments in Nepal. We'll keep coming back to you. Meanwhile, India has said that Pakistan's new government must not indulge in rants as Islamabad raked up the Kashmir issue at the UNSC yet again. India's permanent representative to the UN, Syed Akbaruddin, said that he hoped that the new government in Pakistan will work constructively to build a safe, stable, secure and developed South Asian region free of terror and violence. His remarks came during the UNSC debate on mediation and settlement of disputes on Wednesday. Pakistan's Ambassador Maliha Lodhi raked up the Kashmir issue during the debate, drawing a sharp reaction from Akbaruddin, who said that Pakistan continues to take a failed approach that has long been rejected.
That let me take this opportunity to remind Pakistan, the one isolated delegation that made unwarranted references to an integral part of India. Pacific settlement requires specific intent in thinking and pacific content in action. Regurgitating a failed approach which has long been rejected by the international community is neither reflective of pacific intent nor a display of pacific content. We hope that the new government of Pakistan will, rather than indulge in polemics, work constructively to build a safe, stable, secure, and developed South Asian region free of terror and violence.
And on to the other top story, the National Investigation Agency, or the NIA, has arrested the son of a globally wanted terrorist, Saeed Salahuddin, in Srinagar today. Saeed Shakil Yusuf's arrest is in connection with the 2011 terror funding case for allegedly receiving money from his father. The NIA alleges that Shakil used to receive funds through a US-based international wire transfer company from Ejaz Ahmed Bhatt, another accused in the case. Now, Yusuf is the second son of Salahuddin, who has been arrested by the NIA in connection with the case. The case relates to the transfer of money from Pakistan to Jammu and Kashmir through Hawala channels via Delhi, which the agency believed was used in funding terrorism and secessionist activities. Meanwhile, in Hajin in Bandipora in Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists have been killed in an encounter that is underway right now with the security forces. And India and Pakistan will today conclude crucial talks on various aspects of the Indus Water Treaty in Lahore. The Indian side is being represented by the delegation of the Indian Water Commission, led by Commissioner P.K. Saxena, whereas the Pakistan Commissioner for Indus Waters, Syed Meher Ali Shah, and his delegation are representing Pakistan. The first round of the 2-day talks was held at the National Engineering Services in Pakistan. Now, both the countries are expected to present their reports during the talks, and after the meeting, a joint notification would be issued. The talks are the first official engagement between India and Pakistan since Imran Khan became Prime Minister on 18th of August. The last meeting of the India-Pakistan Permanent Indus Commission was held in New Delhi in the month of March, during which both the sides had shared details of the water flow and the quantum of water being used under the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty. And the US has described a 2+2 dialogue, an indication of the deepening strategic partnership between India and the US. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Secretary of Defense James Mattis will travel to New Delhi next month for the 2+2 dialogue. They will be meeting their Indian counterparts, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Both the nations will strategize on a range of diplomatic and security issues, as well as discuss how to operationalize India's status as a major defense partner. Time to take a very short break here. We'll be right back with more news. Stay tuned.
Rajya Sabha TV's YouTube channel has just crossed a new exciting milestone. It now has over 1 million subscribers. That's more than 10 lakh people who like and want to watch RSTV. Over 15 crore people have watched our videos. Our online viewers are also engaging with us more actively on YouTube. More and more people like, share and comment on our videos. We thank you, our growing tribe of RSTV viewers. We will strive every day to bring you more exciting and engaging content. So stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. And when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song, Amar Shonar Bangla, as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervor dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back after the break. A panel of senior government officers that deliberated on the possibility of enacting a new law to check incidents of lynching in the country has submitted its report to a group of ministers headed by Home Minister Rajnath Singh. The Committee of Secretaries headed by Union Home Secretary Rajiv Gauba held consultations with a cross-section of society and other stakeholders before submitting its report to the GOM. The GOM will now submit its recommendations to the Prime Minister for a final decision. According to a PTI report, the Committee of Secretaries is believed to have suggested for tightening the law by inserting clauses in the Indian Penal Code and the Code of Criminal Procedure through parliamentary approval. The panel report will now be discussed by the GOM, whose members are External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari, Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad and Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawar Chand Gehlot. The move came after several incidents of lynching were reported in many states of the country in the past 1 year. News from Kerala now, where a special session of the State Assembly is underway to discuss the aftermath of the flood and reconstruction challenges before the state. During this session, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan said that there is a need to discuss and decide whether rehabilitation should be done in the areas which are prone to landslides and floods. He also informed the Assembly that 738 crore rupees have been received in the Chief Minister's Distress Relief Fund till 28th of August. Meanwhile, the centre has said that it would favourably consider the state's demand to enhance a borrowing limit and sought permission to impose a cess of 10% on state GST. A central team would again visit Kerala to assess the damage, and a decision on the assistance would be made after its report. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan held discussions with World Bank officials as well and said that their help was necessary to rebuild the state. Meanwhile, banks in Kerala have decided to reschedule the repayment of loans of the rain-hit people. The National Housing Bank will provide 200 crore rupees of refinance at concessional rates for the construction and repair of damaged homes. News from Odisha now, where the state government has said that there was a possibility of minor to medium floods in 11 districts in the state after the water levels in the Mahanadi River continued to swell following the discharge of water from the Hirakud Dam. With the situation likely to become grim in the next 12 hours, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik took stock of the situation and asked the administration to remain alert. The authorities of the Hirakud Dam had yesterday opened 25 gates as the neighbouring Chhattisgarh had released huge volumes of water. The situation became worse when the local rivers added to the woes. The district collectors have been asked to ensure that there was enough stock of food materials besides water and medicines and other essential items. Patnaik also asked the district collectors to evacuate people from low-lying areas. The state government has deployed rescue teams in different vulnerable areas. As per the IMD forecast, there is a possibility of rain or thunder showers in many places across the state, but no warning of heavy rainfall, thankfully. And on a two-day visit to Madhya Pradesh, Chief Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat has said that there are no major errors in the country's voters list. Rawat said that the Election Commission has identified some discrepancies and it is undertaking a campaign to correct any such errors. He assured that elections in Madhya Pradesh will be conducted on time and that the poll body will keep a close watch on code of conduct violations.
मध्य प्रदेश की नहीं बल्कि सारे राज्यों की मतदाता सूचियां बिल्कुल ठीक हैं। उनमें जो भी कमियां या जो भी डिस्क्रिपेंसीज हैं वो कमीशन ने खुद आइडेंटिफाई की हैं और उनको दूर करने का पूरा कार्यक्रम चला रही है ताकि पूरी जो त्रुटियां हैं वो दूर हो जाएं।
An RJD chief, Lalu Prasad, has surrendered before a special CBI court in Ranchi today in connection with the fodder scam. The surrender came on the expiry of his provisional bail. The Jharkhand High Court had directed him to surrender by 30th of August. After being sent to jail in December last year following conviction in the fodder scam cases, Lalu Prasad spent a considerable time at the RIMS hospital in Ranchi and at the AIIMS in New Delhi for the treatment of various ailments. He was also treated at a Mumbai hospital for 3 weeks and was discharged on 25th of August. He was released on a 6 weeks provisional bail on 11th of May by the Jharkhand High Court for medical treatment and was restrained from taking part in any public function, political activity or issuing statements to the media during the period. The High Court had extended then the period of Prasad's bail and on 24th of August refused to extend it any further. News from the markets now, where continuing its free fall, the rupee today weakened by another 23 paise against the dollar to trade at a lifetime low of 70.82. At the forex market, a rupee opened at 70.57 per dollar from its previous close of 70.59, but it slipped to hit a fresh low of 70.82, down by 23 paise. The rupee has lost 9.5% so far this in 2018, making it the worst performing Asian currency. Rising oil prices, broader emerging market concerns, and a stronger month and dollar demand are the causes attributed to the value of the rupee. Let's get you all the international news now. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has cast doubt on the ability of the European countries to save Iran's 2015 nuclear accord, saying that Tehran might abandon the agreement. The pact is now under threat following a US's withdrawal. Khamenei cautioned President Hassan Rouhani not to rely too much on the European support as he came under increased pressure at home over his handling of the economy in the face of US sanctions. Speaking at a cabinet meeting yesterday, Khamenei said that Tehran would not negotiate with indecent and confrontational US officials to reach a new agreement on its nuclear program. This came after Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi declared his plans to send a delegation to the US seeking an agreement on financial transactions with Iran, following Washington's reimposition of sanctions on Tehran. The Trump administration has also warned of consequences for countries, including European allies, that co-signed the nuclear accord that do not respect the new sanctions.
اینی که حالا باز بعضی زمزمه شروع کردن که ممکنه مذاکره انجام بگیره، این به طور قطع منتفیه، یعنی معنی نداره چنین چیزی. اونی که اون ظاهر سازا بودن اونجوری عمل کردن با ما.
Now let's get you all the sporting action from the Asian Games. A very important day for India at the Asian Games. Indian men's hockey team will take on Malaysia in the semi-finals today. And earlier, Swapna Burman created history by becoming the first Indian woman to win gold in the heptathlon event on Wednesday. Burman won the gold with 6,026 points. And in men's triple jump, Arpinder Singh clinched India's first men's triple jump gold in 48 years with a jump of 16.77 meters. And in the women's 200 meters event, Duti Chand clinched the silver medal to join PT Usha in the list of athletes who have won more than one medal at the Asian Games. She crossed the finishing line in 23.2 seconds to claim the silver medal. In table tennis, Sharad Kamal and Manika Batra became the first Indian pair in history to get a medal in the mixed doubles event. Kamal and Batra won a bronze medal. And India's women's hockey team entered the final after defeating China 1-0 in the semi-final match. Gurjeet Singh scored the only goal of the match through a penalty corner to seal the victory for India. And in boxing, Vikas Krishan has also assured of an unprecedented third consecutive Asian Games medal. Vikas defeated his Chinese rival 3-2 in the 75 kg weight category, while Amit Panghar advanced to the 49 kg semi-finals to assure himself of a maiden medal at the Games. Looking at the medals tally now, India is placed 9th in the medals tally with 54 medals in total. That include 11 gold, 20 silver and 23 bronze medals. Very interesting day in cricket as well, because India will take on England in the fourth cricket test of the 5-match series at Southampton today. Having made a commendable comeback from the brink of a series defeat in the third test, India will look to increase their stranglehold on host England to draw parity when the two teams square off for the fourth test today. After defeats in the first two tests, Indian team produced a splendid all-round performance to win the third test in Nottingham by 203 runs. The match will begin at 3:30 p.m. And our news from the US Open. Serena Williams has advanced to the third round of the women's singles tournament. Williams defeated Germany's Karina Witholt in straight sets. The six-time US Open champion will now face her sister Venus Williams in the third round. Venus Williams, who is two-time US Open winner, beat Camila Giorgi 6-4, 7-5 on Wednesday to enter the third round. And in the men's singles, former world number one Andy Murray bowed out of the tournament in the second round. Murray, back in the court after 14 months owing to an injury, was beaten by Spanish Fernando Verdasco in 4 sets. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.